So hello gamers, over the years Phantom Forces has added many different meme guns, and meme guns are basically guns that aren't actually intended to be very good, more intended to be a joke. Now some of these guns have actually become pretty good. So today I'm going to be ranking every single meme gun on a scale of 1 to 10. Let's go for 1000 likes, but let's get into it. Our first one is the M231. The M231 was initially added because in real life it's not really used too much. It was basically designed to be fired out of a M1 Abrams tank port. It's known as an FPW, a firing port weapon. Basically, you hold it in a tank and it fires very fast. It's not really necessarily a gun used for running around and actually using it. So when they added it to the game, it was added in a very high recoil state, and it still is in a very high recoil state. They just actually gave it extremely good damage, velocity, and range and everything because it had so much recoil, right? Then people figured out, yes, it's a meme gun and has super high recoil, but the damage was insane. It had a 100 stud 3 kill range, which is better than like battle rifles. And yes, it has a lot of recoil, but pull down and it's very accurate. So people actually figured out it was good. Now Stylus did end up nerfing it, and it's not as crazy as it used to be, but it's still very good. I'm gonna give this gun a 9 out of 10. It has 30 rounds, over 1,200 RPM, more RPM than the Vector, better range performance and velocity than the Vector, a faster reload than the Vector, bigger magazine than the Vector, better ranges than the Vector. It just doesn't do as great close range damage, and it used to do better close range damage than the Vector. Then they actually figured out after like 4 years that that was a little bit too good, so they did nerf the damage. It doesn't do as much damage, but as you can see, the nerfed version is still a 9 out of 10. It's still so good. I don't know why this had a 4-shot kill at any range with over 1,200 RPM. It basically did the same damage as like an AK at range, but had 1,200 RPM. This thing is the most busted meme gun of all time. The next category is battle rifle, which has one meme gun, which is actually a meme conversion known as 357 Magnum or Henry Big Boy conversion. Now this conversion is not very good, and it's received a lot of buffs, but it's still not good. Basically, it fires faster than the default gun, has 10 rounds, reloads very fast, but cannot one-shot torso in close range, and cannot headshot kill at any range. It can headshot kill pretty far, so if you're hitting the head, it's not too bad. However, just use like the Scout because it fires about as fast with 5.56, like a little bit slower, but still it's not too bad. But can always headshot kill. This can't always headshot kill, like it loses its headshot killing ability, and it's actually not too bad. But you could use like a TCR and headshot kill to about the same range and have 400 RPM instead of 150. So I will be giving this one a 6 out of 10. It's probably one of the worst conversions ever added to the game, but it's not the worst, probably. And if you're hitting headshots, it's really not too bad. I'm kind of popping off right now with it. Next up, you have PDW, and the only real PDW meme gun is the Rama 1130. Now the Rama, when it was added to the game, was pretty bad. It did very bad damage, 24 to 14, but now it does 25 to 15, which will allow it to 4-hit kill to the limbs in close range. It has a lot of reserve ammo, fires very fast, and has an 80 round magazine, which is extremely good. The recoil is also overall very low. I'm using a muzzle booster on it, which will increase the recoil by like 20-30% probably, and it's still extremely manageable. Like, the recoil is really great on this gun. I'm gonna give this one probably a 9 out of 10 as well. I feel like it kind of competes with the M231 considering it has almost the same time to kill. However, it's super accurate, has 80 rounds instead of 30, and reloads extremely fast and has more reserve than the M231. And yeah, it doesn't perform well at range at all, but it's still really good. So next up we have shotguns, and for the first one, it's going to go to the E-gun. Now the E-gun, it has a 3,000 RPM burst, and I am using penny, so it's going to do no damage, but by default it does about 6 to 7 damage and about 14 or something to the head, so it does pretty bad damage overall. However, it can fire at 3,000 RPM, which is very good, the highest RPM that's not infinite in the entire game. But when it deals 9 damage, even with the improved coil, that's not really that great. It does have pretty good multi, so it can do 18 to 6-shot kill to the head, which means you can almost one burst to the head, but it has very low velocity and very low overall damage, so you will be probably 2 bursting, even 3 bursting in close range, which means a burst of 5 shots, so about 15 rounds are probably required to kill. At least it reloads pretty fast, but like I said, velocity is very low, doesn't really have any pen, and it's just not a very good traditional gun. It's definitely more of a meme gun, but I'm not gonna lie, it's not really too bad. I give this gun probably a 5 out of 10. Like, I'm not saying it's good, I'm just saying it's not really that bad. In fact, it is possible to get a 100 kill game with it because it can kill pretty quickly. It's just not necessarily a good gun, but you can get a lot of kills with it if you're pretty good. It's kind of an aim trainer gun, especially on auto, because the auto RPM is pretty abysmal compared to the burst RPM. It's about 1,000 maximum, usually about 800, sometimes even as low as 600, depending on the attachments you're using, which means the time to kill is going to be like, in some cases, like over a second of just continuously hitting a guy, which is just absolutely funny. I'm not saying it's a good gun. It's a 5 out of 10, but it is pretty usable. Like, I'd give it a pretty usable out of 10, you know? 5 out of 10 usable. I'm not saying it's good, but for a meme gun, it's definitely one of the more fun and creative ones. It is a railgun. It is a railgun. It uses magnetic levitation, I believe, which is what railguns do because it doesn't, like, slow the velocity. I guess it continuously speeds up with a rail. I don't know how railgun works, really. Next up, you have the USAS 12, which is somewhat added as a meme gun, although I know a lot of people who didn't want it added at all. It has some pretty weird stats. It fires at 450 RPM, but does some of the lowest damage, actually just the lowest damage of any shotgun in the game. I'm not saying like shotgun conversions, I'm saying like shotguns. It has 8 pellets, but does 19 damage per pellet, so it requires 6 of its pellets instead of about 4 or 3 like the other shotguns. For comparison, the KSG-12 does 32, and this does 19 per pellet, which is pretty crazy, about double the damage per shot. However, it's automatic and has 450 RPM. I can't tell how good they were trying to make this when they added it. I'm surprised they actually got away with adding it, because I know a lot of people were like, I'll quit the game if they add this, and then they added it, and they didn't quit the game. And because it's not like the best shotgun in the game or anything, people don't really use it that much, so it's not really that annoying to fight against. It is kind of annoying when people do have it and they're pretty good, because it is an automatic shotgun. You will probably lose to a good or decent player with it because it's automatic and it's a shotgun. It's pretty difficult to fight against. People will kill you in like 1 to 2 shots in close range. That was like 3 shots. You have to be very close to be able to one-tap with this. It's not a very good gun. I'd give it probably a 6 out of 10. A 10 out of 10 for being easy to use, because it is brain dead easy to use this gun. It is so easy. You don't really got to play in any particular strategy. You can just walk around, turn your brain off, and shoot an automatic shotgun. Next meme gun is the FT300. Now, the FT300 has a very funny combination of 22 long rifle and marksman kit. I mention this pretty much every time I stream Phantom Forces. If people ask me what the worst gun in the game is, it is this, because it has 1 shot and has this reload time. For 1 shot, that does 35 to 25 damage. It's pretty bad. So this can only one-shot headshot, and it has an 8-second reload and 1 bullet, making this easily the worst gun in the entire game. I can consistently just do way better with the zip, because this can actually 2-shot to the torso to 50 studs. Awesome. And a 3-shot limb, and a 4-shot limit range, and a 3-shot, no, probably still 4-shot at range. So it will take you about 30 seconds of continuous fire if you're not hitting the head to kill a guy. If you hit the head, it will one-tap, but like the zip is a 3-shot headshot and has 50 rounds. It's way easier to use the zip. This is definitely going to be a 1 out of 10. This combination, at least, is very bad. You can also say that just the normal 22 is kind of a meme ammo type as well, but this is actually a lot better. This is probably like a 4 out of 3. It's a 3 out of 10. Basically, it does have the 1-shot headshot at any range, which is not too bad, and it shoots a lot faster. However, there are plenty of guns that can 1-shot headshot at any range and will do you better than this. It doesn't really shoot that fast, and it does like absolutely awful limb damage. Like, use the SL9. The SL9 does more damage than this. It's a DMR with 10 rounds. Also, you know, like I said, marksman kit doesn't work. You can't get 10 rounds on this, which would be very nice. I would love to see marksman kit get changed to actually be good, but it would kind of ruin the meme, so I guess maybe don't add that. I would like to see this become a better conversion, but I don't think it ever will. It is kind of a meme ammo type, and yeah, it fits as one. If you're hitting the head, it's not like unusable, but you can definitely tell, even if you're hitting the head, it's not good. You can say, well, I'm doing good with it. I'm getting 4 kills. It must be good. No, you're just trying to flex how good at the game you are. You can at least, even if you're getting kills with it, admit that it's not a good gun, you know? Next up, we have the Coil gun, which the Coil gun is actually kind of a better version of the E-gun, and it is a secondary as well. It has a faster reload time. It also has silver disc, which not only increase damage, they also increase the penetration of your gun. You can actually wallbang, and you also can 1 burst to the head with this. This is actually a very decent gun. Like, I don't remember what I gave the E-gun. I think like a 5 out of 10. This is at least a 6, maybe even a 7. And the reason for this is because it's got the damage, the velocity, and the fact that it's a secondary. So it's just better. Like, you don't want to have a primary that does this, but a secondary that does this is not really too bad, you know? It does bad damage, but it's a secondary. Just use your primary if you know, don't want to use it. This might be a pretty good secondary to a sniper rifle, since when you're not killing, you're going to be doing a lot of damage, and you might be able to finish a guy off. For example, if you hit a guy with the intervention and get them to 10 health, because the intervention does 90 limb damage, you can actually shoot them with one pellet from this gun and it will kill. That's not really too bad when it has 3,000 RPM. This is really good. I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. It has a purpose. It's way better than the E gun, even though this setup has a lot more recoil. For close range, if I go up to people, it can kill them pretty quick. The Boxy Buster isn't really a meme gun, but it's not very good. If you want to see more about that, then check out my slowest gun in every category video where I talk about this gun, but it's pretty interesting. 1911, the KS-23M, and the M45A1 have about the same thing, where they have a very slow shooting projectile that has a lot of drop and does pretty bad damage to the body, but can always kill to the head. And yeah, as you can see, that's the drop. This one is called Dart, and Harpoon is on the KS-23M, but they're essentially the same thing. Harpoon is more of an overall slower firing but more powerful variant to this, and they're all bad. They're all like a 1 out of 10. They're literally unusable guns. Okay, they're not unusable, but like they can't even one-shot torso, at least in this case. They have so much drop and don't even shoot fast at all. So what's the point of them? They're meme ammo types. They're pretty funny. They're all 1 out of 10 though. They're all like completely unviable, unusable pieces of garbage, but they are pretty funny. So if you want to use them, they're cool for that specific purpose, I guess. Boom, got it. So yeah, you can't even one-shot with this thing unless it's the head, but it will do like 5,000 damage or something stupid. So it will actually knock people really far. Wait, can I actually... Oh, he moved. The AF-2011 is not really a meme gun. It was actually added with the ability to be a good gun. It's not too bad. The final meme gun is the SAS-308. This gun is very bad. Like, it is just not worth using. I'd give it probably a 3 out of 10 because it's not unusable. It can headshot kill at any range and does pretty good body damage, and it doesn't really fire too fast, but I think a dart, but like good because it doesn't really have a lot of drop. It has 2,300 velocity, which is really pretty good. The GB10, GB50, GB22 even are kind of a little bit better than this. It's really not too bad, and it can 2-tap to the limbs at any range, so you can kind of pop off with it even with default ammo. And it does have a torso kill conversion, which is not really that great because that's just the GB50 but bad RPM, so I don't really recommend it. It can also not headshot kill at any range with that conversion, which kind of ruins the entire point of having one bullet. And even the GB50 can one-shot head at any range, so don't really use that conversion. It's not really that great. But yeah, if you guys did enjoy, that is every single meme gun in Phantom Forces. Make sure to like and subscribe, but I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.